throttle control, there should be an elevator switch. There it is. Other way. Not throttle.
Hey Charlie, you take the end of the dock, there's a bigger spot there. I'll go in after. Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to... What I'm set up for.
We're going to come straight in. All right. All right. Oh, yeah, what are you doing there? No worries, man. We got the real AT here.
Rate 73 men's single stall semifinal is now on the court.
And Grant Tobin with Notre Dame will be rowing in lane 3.
Oh, hi, Grandpa. It's Scotty. I hope you can hear me.
We have James Tobin in Nashville, North Carolina, watching the race, cheering on his grandson, Grant Tobin.
Charlie McDaniel. Yeah, hi, Charlie. Good morning, Mary. Grandpa. Need an update. Grandpa. Joe Iron. Let's go Iron. Good morning. Are you listening to us talk to you? Oh, Grandpa in Nashville? Yes, hearing it all. Hi. Yeah, okay, we just want to... Hi, Grandpa. That's so funny. Okay, I want to call back. It's Grandpa. The farthest. It's lane 3. He's gonna win this one. Oh, no, he's gonna win the one later.
And he's made a concerted effort to get over the Chicago, the UMass rower, who's now looking over. They're sort of peeking at each other, and as we come into all the UMass rower, who's now looking over, they're sort of peeking at each other, and as we come into almost 500 meters, Chicago rower, who's now looking over, they're sort of peeking at each other, and as we come into almost 500 meters, Chicago rower has put himself right on par with the UMass. There's going to be a great sprint here for this fourth and final qualifying position for the A final. We'll see who has a little bit more in the tank, because there are grimacings and there are breathings and they are working hard to get that last spot. Enjoy the last 500 of the race on your own. The other crew sort of in it right here out over in is USC. So we have Michigan leading Michigan State by about a seat. State working a little hard, staying up there, but working a little hard to do so. We'll see as this comes up, 700 meters here, if anyone's really going to put on a huge push here or not, because these four crews that qualified for the grand final have to be back on the water in under 3 hours to race. But it looks like they're going after it, and here we have in lane 8, mid 500 meters to go, 3 seats up on Michigan State, mid 500 meters to go, 3 seats up on Michigan State, a seat up on Washington State, and Rochester open water back, but in the fourth qualifying position from there, and over to the finish.
Race 76, men's freshman. Race 76, men's freshman novice 4 just started on the water.
Emory is kind of fallen out of it at the moment, but all the way across here, it appears that the men's freshman novice 4 right now is being dominated by the lane 4 boat of Wichita State, with Virginia just nipping at their heels. Virginia, the only boat that has overlap with that Wichita State boat at this point. As we cross the 500-meter mark now, Wichita State leading clearly. Virginia's coxswain really on the 4 seat of Wichita State. Lane 5, George Mason from Virginia here has about a bow deck overlap with Wichita State, so they're not giving in or giving up to this at all. Lane 2, Bucknell appears to be making a good charge too and staying up there with the rest of the pack. Remember here, it's only the first 4 boats to the final, so right now it doesn't appear that anybody is a clear victor over anyone else. Looks like Wichita State is starting to fade just a little bit. Virginia, with their slightly lower stroke rate, maybe a little bit more power behind the oars there, is making a little bit of a charge up on the Wichita State boat at this point. George Mason still with a little bit of overlap with Wichita State, but it looks like Virginia and Wichita State slowly moving away from the rest of the field. As we come through here into the 750-meter mark, we're going to turn it over to Charlie and have him commentate the rest of your race.
We have George Mason having put a nice move, nice lengthy move to get up in it. So we have Virginia and Wichita in that position, and that position, and then on the far side, bow to stern in front of UCSB in lane 7 in the 4th qualifying position right now. This is some great tight racing, but again, it doesn't look like these lead 4s are pushing it particularly hard, conserving a little bit to make sure that they have enough to come back and race in the grand final in about 2.5 hours. So coming into 500 meters, Virginia with a nice controlling 4 seats over Wichita State, and George Mason, and then Bucknell on the far side, having pretty much assured that it'll go through to the final as well. Although we'll see what UCSB can do to try and get back into them, and Rhode Island just hanging off the tail end of that. Enjoy the rest of the race from the shore.
The men's varsity 8 semifinals have started. Minnesota will be in the lane nearest the grandstand, with Purdue, Boston College, Bucknell, Virginia, Delaware, Massachusetts, and Cincinnati on the far side. 4 are going to qualify for the grand final, and we're going to take you up to the chase boat.
For it, but right now it's Virginia drawing those other 3 crews away from the rest of the field. Virginia pulling along Delaware, Bucknell, and Boston College, who are fighting ferociously at this point to make it into that grand final. Purdue is not far off the pack. They're a little bit further ahead of Massachusetts and Cincinnati in the far lane, but it looks like Cincinnati coming into past the 500-meter mark here now is making a good push to get ahead of that Purdue boat, which is over here in lane 7. Purdue trying to stay on the tail of Boston College, but I don't know if that coxswain can see all the way across the lane 1. And Cincinnati is starting to make a move, and that's going to be important here because they're going to want to start to move back up on that Boston College boat, that Bucknell boat, and that Delaware boat. At this point, it looks like the Virginia boat has actually opened up some open water on the rest of the field, so I'm not sure if anybody else is going to be able to catch them, but we'll see. There's plenty of the race left here, meter mark, to bring you the rest of the race. 50-meter mark to bring you the rest of the race.
12:50. We have Virginia taking the rating up a little bit because this race behind them is heating up, and you can see they're asking for them to move insurance to make sure they're up there, moving away, walking insurance to make sure they're up there, moving away, walking out. And you have Bucknell probably in second, but open water behind Virginia, and then Delaware and Boston College just sort of pushing it along, spending some energy, but not overexerting here with a final to come up later. Purdue sitting about astern behind the fourth place crew, who's Delaware, as is Cincinnati, who had to go through the reps yesterday to get in. So we'll see if they can throw a sprint in here to get back up in there, but it looks like they're pretty much maxed out on their speed, and it'll be Virginia, with all things going equal, walking away with this first semifinal in the men's varsity. Bucknell.
Appears to be coming out. UC Irvine in their Felipe 8, charging out with University of California, Santa Barbara. At this point, it looks like just by a couple seats here, University of California Irvine, University of California Santa Barbara are out in front of the rest of the field, which includes Washington State in the far lane and also North Carolina in the far lane. UCLA, it looks like UCLA, Washington State, and University of North Carolina are making a tight pack on the far side of the course. On the close side of the course here, it is the number 8 boat, New Hampshire, with University of California Irvine back there on Irvine, but it looks like New Hampshire is falling back just a little bit here. Michigan probably out in front, and Grand Valley out in front with them, just going stroke for stroke. Kind of you can see the rowers taking a look at each other, just kind of sizing each other up, seeing where their boat is. But it looks like Michigan and Grand Valley now not so much pulling the rest of the pack with them, but moving away from the rest of the pack. University of California Santa Barbara comfortably in third now by about 4 seats over UC Irvine, but UC Irvine falling back a little bit and looking out into the far lanes now. It appears to be Washington State making a charge to get into that 4th spot down there along with University of California Santa Barbara. Washington State pulling out a couple of seats. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to Charlie for the rest of the race.
Grand Valley sort of lengthening out, and Michigan and on the Grand Valley ball. Not a whole lot of emotional energy in either of those two crews. They're conserving for the final place to Washington State, who's put a nice move on the outside. And what that's doing is bringing UCLA back into the place to Washington State, who's put a nice move on the outside. And what that's doing is bringing UCLA back into this race, because UCLA is pushing up Wichita State and is starting to eat into UCSB. So UCSB now is having to respond and is just scrambling just the littlest bit, which is making it easier for Washington State to move up into them. So 500 meters to go. Michigan has turn on UCS turn on UCS turn on UCSB and Washington State, and unless that's the way it'll go. That's the way it'll go.
We just have to not call it. We just have to not call it.
So with 250 to go, Michigan leading the field. Second semifinal of the men's varsity 8. Grand Valley comfortably in second. University of California at Santa Barbara safely in third. A little bit of question now in the fourth place fight. Washington State, UCLA, and Irvine still throwing the strokes. And this is going to be tight at the finish. Washington State and UCLA in a dogfight. Coming up is the men's single C final. Penn State on the far side, Kansas State, Seattle, Grand Valley, Wichita State, and William and Mary. This is for places 17 on down.
Tough to do because, I mean, like, as you saw,
.700 meters to go. It's Portland still with a slim lead over Vermont. Vermont by about 2 lengths now over Nebraska in the women's double. Now with about 600 meters to go. And now receiving her bronze medal in the women's single, the sculler from Penn State. Coming into the dock, our silver medalist from Texas. Meanwhile, with 400 meters to go, we might have a barn burner for the next gold medal. It's Portland State, just ahead of Vermont. 400 meters to go in the women's double. This is still a boat race. As our women's single champion from Florida, now approaches the dock. It's Portland with 1 length over Vermont now with 300 meters to go. And it looks like Portland's smelling the end too. They've raised their rate and it looks like they're starting to pull away. In a length again, 150 meters to go. There's still some question here for this gold medal. Vermont charging, it's half a length. We're into the last 10 strokes. Length again, 150 meters to go. There's still some question here for this gold medal. Vermont charging, it's half a length. We're into the last 10 strokes. And another grand final is 700 meters in. It'll be the men's novice lightweight fours. Washington University nearest the grandstand. Then Georgia, North Carolina, UC Santa Barbara, Massachusetts, and Murray State. It looks like UC Santa Barbara has the lead crossing the 1,000. And North Carolina probably in second place. Looks like Washington University might be in third, but it's very close. 4 crews for that third place, trailing North Carolina in second and UC Santa Barbara leading. $7.50 to go. It looks like Santa Barbara pulling away a little bit. They may now have open water on North Carolina. North Carolina in second place. The other 4 crews all within striking distance of the bronze medal. Washington University on the near shore looks to be the closest contender to North Carolina for second. But Murray State and Massachusetts, Murray State in particular on the far side, still actively in this race, as is the University of Georgia. Santa Barbara in the lead now by open water. North Carolina in second, and Washington University narrowly in third over a couple of other crews. Santa Barbara crosses 500 meters. WashU has clearly now moved into third place. WashU has clearly now moved into third place. They've got a length now over a couple of crews tied for fourth. But they are charging North Carolina. It looks like Santa Barbara is going to, barring disaster, come home with the gold medals here. But it's very much up in question as to whether Washington University can continue this challenge and take second place away from North Carolina. Santa Barbara with 3-length lead, 2:50 to go. WashU clearly closing on Carolina. So with 35 strokes to go, the Tar Heels are digging in, trying to hold off the WashU crew for silver. And it looks like this is going to go right to the wire. So receiving their medals, gold medalist Portland State crew. We are 500 meters into the next championship event. It's the A final for the men's second novice 8. Orange Coast will be on the grandstand shore. Notre Dame, Purdue, Michigan, and UC Santa Barbara on the far side. With 700 meters in, it looks like Notre Dame may be your leader in the men's second novice 8. Looks like Purdue and Michigan about level right behind them. Orange Coast not far after that pace. Orange Coast just ahead of UC Santa Barbara. Now it looks like Michigan moving into second. Seem to be moving away from Purdue and closing a bit on the Notre Dame crew. Looks like Notre Dame's still leading over second place Michigan. And then very close together, Purdue, Orange Coast, and UC Santa Barbara. 7:50 to go. It's still Notre Dame in the lead. Orange Coast has come up to challenge Michigan for second. And then it's a length back to Purdue and UC Santa Barbara from there. It looks like Notre Dame with about a length lead, 700 to go, over Michigan and Orange Coast. All 5 of these crews still within contact. This is the grand final of the men's second novice 8. Notre Dame now with a little open water. Orange Coast might be easing past Michigan here into second place. And Santa Barbara on the far side beginning to pick up its pace. So right now it's Notre Dame, a little bit of open water ahead of Orange Coast, Michigan in third, but under pressure from UC Santa Barbara, and Purdue 2/3 of a length behind Michigan, in that Michigan holding currently that bronze medal position. But Santa Barbara on the far side, a real surge here. They're moving up on Michigan as Notre Dame maintains its lead, and Orange Coast in second place, about a length and a half back. This fight for the bronze medal now is 3 boats across. It's still barely Michigan ahead of Purdue and Santa Barbara. Nobody out there has given up on a medal yet. It's Notre Dame, Orange Coast, and then Michigan just barely over Santa Barbara and Purdue. Varsity lightweight 4. A 3-boat race with Purdue on the near side. Irvine's varsity lightweight 4. A 3-boat race with Purdue on the near side. Irvine in the center, and Washington State rowing exhibition on the far side. Bronze medalist North Carolina receiving its medals for the novice lightweight 4. Coming into the dock, second place, Washington University. 750 meters in, Irvine and Purdue very close, with Purdue a slight advantage in the women's varsity lightweight 4, with Washington State about a length back in third. And coming into the dock, I guess we're going to hear some olays for your champion, Gauchos. UC Santa Barbara, men's novice lightweight 4. Meanwhile, crossing the 1,000, Purdue has a length lead on Irvine in the women's varsity lightweight 4, with Washington State another length back. .600 meters left. The positions remain the same in the women's varsity lightweight 4. The margins seem to be stretching out a little bit. Purdue now with open water over UC Irvine. Irvine, a little open water over Washington State. Coming into the dock with a pretty happy last 5 strokes, your bronze medalist, second novice 8 from Purdue. Speaking of Purdue, they've got a varsity lightweight women's 4 with a 2-length lead now with 300 meters to go. Boilermakers on the dock getting medals. Boilermakers with 150 meters to go, getting more medals. It's Purdue, 2.5 lengths now in front as they approach the finish line in the women's varsity lightweight 4. And landing for their silver medals, second, novice 8 from Orange Coast. .500 meters into the women's quad race, we have Vanderbilt with about a length and a half lead on Denver. Coming into the dock and having a little more trouble with the sandbar than they had with lane 5. Your second novice 8 champions from Notre Dame. Meanwhile, crossing the 1,000-meter mark, Vanderbilt has a comfortable lead on Denver in the women's quad final. With 500 meters to go, the Vanderbilt women's quad continues to lead Denver. Coming into the dock, champions of the women's varsity lightweight 4, Purdue. Crossing 500s, Seattle is making a push. They're closing in on the lead crew from Alabama Huntsville. Those two have about a length over Denver in third place, closely followed by Georgia Tech. Right behind Georgia Tech, it looks like Cal Santa Barbara. It's Alabama Huntsville coming up on 250 meters to go, slightly ahead of Seattle. Denver still in third, but barely ahead of Georgia Tech. UCLA over on the far side, starting to make a move. They are about level with Santa Barbara, fighting for fifth place. It's Huntsville, Alabama Huntsville. Looks like they might be able to hold off the Seattle crew that's been pressing them for the entire second 1,000. Meanwhile, for UC Davis. The grand final of the men's novice 4 is underway. Rochester will be in the near lane. Wichita State, Michigan State, Virginia, Michigan, George Mason, Washington State, and on the far side, Bucknell. Those crews are 500 meters in. Coming in for their silver medals after a very spirited last third of the race. Well done, Virginia Commonwealth. Crossing the 1,000, the final of the men's novice 4. It's Michigan in the lead. It looks like Virginia in second. And a pretty closely bunched field, third through sixth. And on the dock, it looks like some gold medals are going home to Champaign, Illinois. Meanwhile, 700 meters to go. We may have another barn burner coming up in the novice men's 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
This 500, they'll go a little bit. They'll take a lift.
This is still Michigan in
Then
the
they'll go a little bit
lead,
more,
but
they'll-
behind them there is quite a mess.
Yeah, there they go.
Yeah, I was going to say, now Wichita's sinking back a little bit.
George Mason now seems to hold
UVA's
second
out,
place,
Washington's,
barely over
George
Virginia.
Mason's out.
Right behind them, a slew of crews. Michigan State, Wichita's final is about 700 meters in. DePaul will be on the grandstand side. Illinois, Purdue, North Carolina, Colorado, Cincinnati, and Georgia on the far side. And silver medalists, after a great effort, great sprint, George Mason. Out on the course, they've crossed 1,000. There are about 800 meters to go, and Purdue leads. Purdue has about a length lead over North Carolina. At this point, it looks like Cincinnati in third. Cincinnati with about a length lead over Illinois and Colorado. But it's Purdue with 600 meters to go, about a length ahead of North Carolina. And the men's novice 4 coming in for a well-earned gold medal, Michigan. .400 meters to go. Purdue leads North Carolina by a length, with Cincinnati closing in on North Carolina. They're under a length behind North Carolina and beginning to move. It's Purdue by a length over Carolina. Carolina 3/4 of a length ahead of Cincinnati. Purdue breaking clear. North Carolina looks like they're going to fend off the Bearcats. The B final of the men's novice 8. Here come your women's novice 8 bronze medalists, Purdue. The men's novice 8A final is underway. UC Davis on the near shore, UC Santa Barbara, Virginia, Orange Coast, Michigan, Notre Dame, Grand Valley, and Boston College on the far side. Coming in for some silver medals, some Happy Ducks from Oregon. Approaching the 1,000 meters, the men's novice 8's A final appear to be interested in putting on a show for us. From this perspective, I would say 1st through 7th is within a length. If I can pick out a leader, it might just be Orange Coast. But they are one length from being in 7th place. Right behind Orange Coast, it looks like Virginia and Michigan. Michigan possibly just ahead of Virginia. Not far back, Notre Dame, maybe another quarter length back. And then close to them, UC Santa Barbara. 600 meters to go. And everybody's in this. Possible exception of Davis falling off the pace. But this is going to be a terrific race. Orange Coast may be leading, but Virginia is pressing. Santa Barbara is pressing. Virginia... Notre Dame and Michigan are pressing. Orange Coast managing to stay in front, but Notre Dame, Michigan, Virginia, and Santa Barbara neck and neck and neck and neck. And if you can tear your attention away from that, let's recognize the beautiful row from this Santa Barbara crew. Okay, these crazy freshmen out there are putting on a production number. Orange Coast has been leading most of the second half, but more gauchos coming up. Santa Barbara moving. They have taken second place. Orange Coast trying to hold off Santa Barbara, Virginia, Michigan, Notre Dame. We have 5 crews within 2/3 of a length. The second varsity women's 8 is underway. UC Santa Barbara will be on the inside, Grand Valley in the center, and Bryant College on the far side. 3-boat race, women's. So approaching the 1,000-meter mark, women's second varsity 8. It looks like a very tight race between Santa Barbara and Grand Valley, with Bryant College in third. At 7:50, Grand Valley appears to have maybe a half a length lead over UC Santa Barbara. Bryant College in third. Approaching the 500-meter mark, Grand Valley appears to be extending its lead somewhat. It's now just about one length over UC Santa Barbara. Coming into 400 meters, Grand Valley maintains its length lead over Santa Barbara in the women's second varsity 8. And after that nail-biter of a men's freshman 8 final, here come your bronze medalists, Virginia. 200 meters left. It's one length. Grand Valley over UC Santa Barbara, the women's second varsity 8 championship. And coming into the dock, after that superb finishing kick, more medals, silver medals, more gauchos, more Olay. The B final of the men's second varsity 8 is 500 meters into the course. Washington University on the grandstand side, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Michigan State. And here come the ultimate survivors of that last 500-meter mayhem. Your ACRA champion novice 8, Orange Coast. Into their third 500, the men's 2v8B final has North Carolina with a pretty substantial lead. Looks like New Hampshire and Massachusetts fighting neck and neck, along with Michigan State just behind them. Then a little bit further back to the Minnesota 3V and Washington University. But it's North Carolina in the lead, Massachusetts in second, just ahead of New Hampshire and Michigan State. North Carolina now, open water by maybe 3/4 of a length with 600 meters to go. Carolina crosses the 500 meters to go mark first. New Hampshire and Michigan State trying to put a little pressure on UMass. UMass has about 3/4 of a length over both of those crews, but the Tar Heels still maintain open water over the field. Into the last 250, it's still Carolina leading Massachusetts. Massachusetts not quite a length over New Hampshire, with Michigan State just behind New Hampshire. This is for place 9 and up in the men's second varsity 8. And here are your silver medalists in the men's second varsity 8, Virginia. The grand final of the men's lightweight 4 has begun. Washington State will be in the near lane. Penn State, Southern Cal, Minnesota, Michigan, George Mason, Virginia Commonwealth, and UC Santa Barbara on the far side. About 600, 700 meters in, it looks like George Mason and Michigan are your leaders in the lightweight varsity men's 4. They're about to get gold medals. They're about to get gold medals for the men's second varsity 8, University of Michigan. About 800 meters in, it looks like George Mason and Michigan still fighting for the lead in the lightweight varsity 4. Minnesota looks like a good third place, possibly just ahead of Virginia Commonwealth. We've got a pretty good race coming up here in the third 500. Looks like this Minnesota crew has made a nice little move along with Southern Cal. Minnesota has come through and taken the lead from Michigan and George Mason. Mason's still probably narrowly second over Michigan, but Southern Cal coming up to challenge. They're trying to put themselves in medal position as well. Penn State over on the... I'm sorry, it's Virginia Commonwealth over on the far side. Still with some talking to do in this fight. So right now it looks like 5 crews are going to fight for these 3 medals. But Minnesota now, clearly the leader. They've got nearly a length over Michigan and George Mason, with Southern California and Virginia Commonwealth close behind.
Let's go, Minnesota! Let's go, Minnesota! Let's go, Minnesota!
So Minnesota approaching 250 with a 1-length lead, but they cannot afford to slip up because there are 4 crews within a half a length fighting for the silver and bronze medals. It's Virginia Commonwealth, George Mason, Michigan, and Southern Cal. And Virginia Commonwealth on the far side and Southern Cal on the near side are starting to move. Great racing here as Minnesota tries to hang on for its gold medal in lightweight 4. So into the last 500, it's Purdue now with a healthy lead. Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Oregon fighting for second, third, and fourth, with Santa Barbara just behind. And here are your silver medalists of the men's lightweight 4, the University of Southern California. So here comes Purdue with 200 meters to go and a substantial lead. It's still a great fight, Kansas State, Oregon, and Cincinnati for second, third, and fourth.
Hi, this is Charlie. Yep.
Here are your lightweight 4 gold medalists, the University of Minnesota. With about a 2.5 length lead over University of California at Santa Barbara. Purdue still putting on the pressure on UCSB. And it's New Hampshire trying to get into the medals now. They're charging after Purdue. It's Grand Valley now. Taking the stroke rate up. Why not, ladies? Show off for the crowd. You're a good crew. Santa Barbara looks like they're going to have the juice to hang on to the silver medals. Purdue still in third place. But New Hampshire is closing. New Hampshire closing on Purdue. Will the Boilermakers hang on to the bronze? Well, another fantastic finish coming up in the B final of the men's varsity 8. But we got to acknowledge, last year they became the first 3-time winners in this event, and now it's 4, Grand Valley. But look at North Carolina nosing through, just trying to catch Davis at the end here. 9th place race coming up, and it's Carolina busting through at the last instant. Coming into the dock, bronze medalists, men's 8, Grand Valley State University. After a very spirited effort, here come your silver medalists, Virginia. And here to pick up their gold medals, Michigan. This is Michigan's second straight win in the men's varsity 8 and 6th of 8 overall.